Hey guys, what's happening? This is incredible Honolulu on Oahu Island, Hawaii. So when you think of the most famous beaches in the world, you definitely have to put this one near the top of that list. Waikiki, the ultimate Hawaiian scene. And today I'm going to hike to the top of Diamond Head Peak. Right there. We are going to get to the top of that mountain if all goes as planned. Right now, heading out this way, walking along the streets. You have to get to the back side of that. It is a volcanic crater. You see it and it looks like a ridge, kind of like a long line, sort of, but it is not a narrow mountain ridge. It is a very circular volcanic cone, as you will see when I get into the middle of it. I actually did this hike a few days ago, but didn't film it. Now, that time I walked part of the way and then I took an Uber because I was a little lost trying to walk all the way up there. So the plan this time is to walk the whole way. We shall see how that goes, if I am able to do it in time. Okay, let's get across this street here and walk past the Honolulu Zoo. My hotel is right behind these buildings here. I showed it in the last video. $142 per night. Not cheap, but for the epic location, then it's pretty darn ultimate, staying right here. I've been here for almost a week, been taking a break from the videos. There you can see the entrance to the Honolulu Zoo. Amazing Hawaiian trees. So in order to hike to the peak of Diamond Head, then you need a ticket now. There is a reservation system to keep too many people from being on the trail at the same time. And so you have to go online, just search for Diamond Head Peak tickets. It's really easy, takes a couple minutes, fill out a little form, pay with your credit card, $5 plus like $1.15 or something fee, so like $6 for this hike. So something to do on a budget here in Honolulu. All right, going to hike a ways and then keep on filming different points along the way, show you what it's like. So the beach is right down there. At this intersection, then you have to make a right-hand turn. I'm going to show you times and distances. So I have here plugged in the distance to where I started on the pier there. I've walked a half a mile, which took 9 minutes. So I left at about 2:10, and then I will show you the distances along the way. Let's see how far it ends up being and how long it takes. I've been here for 6 days. I'm here for 2 more nights and then flying back to Portland, Oregon. Oh, nice. And taking a little break. Is
that where you're from?
I'm from Northern California originally, although I was born in Vancouver, Canada, but I lived in Oregon for a number of years, so I have a car parked there.
Cool.
And stuff in storage. So I just ran into a subscriber here. What's your name?
I'm Ken.
Right on, from Honolulu.
Yep, Ken from Honolulu. This guy, he inspired me to travel, so now in about 2 days I'm going to Sri Lanka. I'm just going to explore and adventure and kind of, you know.
For how long? Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka, yeah.
Brilliant.
So
great choice.
For about, hopefully I could just do a one-way ticket thing.
Yeah.
And just, you know, just wing it and go as long as I can.
Good question on that. I'm not sure if Sri Lanka requires the onward flight. I mean, you could always purchase a cheap ticket from there to India.
Yep.
If you think you'll need it, like just kind of be ready on the spot or whatever at the airport.
That's what I'm wondering, like when they say return ticket, does that mean like back to Hawaii?
That shouldn't mean back to where you started from. That should just mean
just like get
out of the country. Right. Yeah, because they're going to understand like, yeah, I'm traveling South Asia. I'm going to go to India next and then Nepal or whatever.
Okay.
That should work. I mean, it's always a little bit of a gray area. Like Australia said that they required it and then nobody asked me for it when I entered there. So
yeah, usually if they have like a strong passport, like they let you go, I heard. So.
Maybe so, yeah. So is this like your first big international trip, or?
No, I go like every year. Well, like,
to different places?
To different places.
Which other countries?
I've been to Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Nepal, Mexico. And yeah, I don't know, the last trip was in Nepal and I really liked it.
Nice, Nepal?
Yeah.
Did you do a trek?
I did Poon Hill.
Okay.
I didn't do the Everest or anything. But
anyone who wants to do a short, easy trek in Nepal, Poon Hill, what did it take you, 2 days or one night up in the mountains and then hike up and see the view? I've never actually done it myself, but I've heard about it. And, yeah, you can do it as an offshoot on the Annapurna Circuit or ABC base camp trek. So
yeah.
Did you get good views at the top?
No. I went in rainy season. So
bummer.
But the trek was good enough for me. It was an experience. So
yeah,
just seeing like how people live up there is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to go back sometime and get the better views. Did you get any views of the mountains from the town of Pokhara, or same thing?
From Pokhara, yeah. From Pokhara, I saw it like cleared up this one day. So
lucky.
I got a better view from Pokhara than the actual trek.
Yeah. Because I hear that the view from Poon Hill is just phenomenal. So
yeah, I missed it. But,
yeah. So at this intersection, at Montserrat Avenue, you want to take a left past Queen Kapiolani Garden. So I have now walked 0.7 mile. We're going to knock off 5 minutes since we were talking with Ken there. And so it has been a 15-minute walk so far. So running into Ken brings up the question, why didn't I go to Sri Lanka when I was so close in South India, when I haven't been to Sri Lanka yet? It is an amazing country by the looks of it. Also, why didn't I stay longer in Australia, only 18 days in a massive country? Why did I only spend 3 days in Fiji? Why didn't I go to New Zealand? Basically because if I stop everywhere that I would love to stop and spend as much time as they are worth, spending time at, then I would basically be traveling non-stop and never get a break. I've been traveling 4 months now on this trip through Asia, South Asia, Australia, Fiji, now Hawaii. And I am flying back, as I mentioned, in 2 days to Portland, Oregon, picking up my vehicle and going to visit friends and family. So if I spend another month in Australia and a proper, 2 weeks in Fiji and then went to New Zealand for a month or two or whatever, then, it just kind of keeps on going and going. And it's good to get a break. It's good to see the family and friends and just get a little refresher before my next adventure. And so it will be probably a fairly quick visit back to the west coast of the United States, probably going to go to Oregon, California, Nevada. My brother and his family is in Reno now, Nevada. So head back there, do a little road trip, probably won't film much. And then summer travels that I am really looking forward to. You'll find out sometime fairly soon where I'm going next. But I will let you know it is going to be countries that I've been to before, some of my favorites. There you go, that is the peak. So I now have to walk all the way around this round crater, or not all the way around it, but around the side of it to the back side over there, and then hike through a tunnel into the middle of it, and then from there you actually start the proper hike up to the peak. You can drive this whole way and park up there. We're here at the Aloha Pineapple Cafe. They have a good breakfast deal. $3.80 for breakfast there if you buy a drink along with it. Thanks. Wearing my new Hawaiian tank top and Hawaiian cap, about 15 bucks each. Confession, this is a women's shirt. I usually don't like the men's style tank tops, at least the ones in, you know, touristy shops that are all kind of big and like a thick fabric. This one is just like super comfy, softer, thinner fabric and just kind of fits me better. So, you know, whatever works. Kapahulu. I love seeing all the Hawaiian names. Most of the street names are Hawaiian. So today is Monday, April 17th. It is currently 83 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 28 degrees Celsius. Checking our progress. 22 minutes, 1.2 miles. We might be roughly halfway to the visitor center and entrance point that you can drive to. So there is a time slot that you reserve. Mine is from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. and I believe that that means you can arrive there at the entrance gate anytime between that time period. So I'm right on schedule basically to get there at 3 o'clock. And I've been seeing buses going past, so you could catch a bus out here as well. We have some of the infamous wild Hawaiian chickens and roosters. So apparently, not sure if this is entirely accurate, but a lot of the chickens and roosters were released as a result of a hurricane in 1992, which hit Kauai Island dead on. No idea if it hit Oahu here, so I don't know, maybe they're also just random chickens that escaped other ways, but apparently that hurricane, Aniki, if I'm remembering correctly, released a lot of captive chickens, and so they're all over the island, and you'll hear them a lot, especially if you're camping, them walking around your tent and crowing and everything. So time for a water break. I highly recommend this kind of a water bottle. It's called Clean Canteen, but of course there will be other brands, but you can see there maybe insulated. So it will keep hot things hot, but I don't put any hot things in this. More importantly, it will keep cold things cold. The only thing that I put in this is water, but it will keep cold water nice and cold throughout the day. Also, got a smoothie here. Naked Mighty Mango. So while I'm walking along here on a flat part before it gets steep and I start huffing and puffing, then I thought that I would cover every time that I've been to Hawaii. These are all stories that I would love to go more deep into and tell, especially as you'll see some of my longer term visits and various adventures, then they deserve like longer videos talking much more about them. But just a very brief little recap. Then the first time I came to Hawaii was in June of 1989. So I was 17 years old. I had just graduated from high school, Berkeley High School, California. I was raised in the small town of Willits in Mendocino County, north of there, but my last 2 years I moved down to the Bay Area. So my mom paid for a trip to Hawaii for me and her and my younger brother Christo as a high school graduation gift. So the three of us went to Kauai. So I basically didn't know anything about the Hawaiian Islands at that point, you know, just the basics. But my mom did the trip planning and picked Kauai, fortunately. So we went there for a week and toured the island, including doing the first 2 miles of the Kalalau Trail to Hanakapiai Beach. And so while we were on that hike, then at some point we talked to a forest ranger who told us about the entire trail, 11 miles to the end of the trail along the Nepali coast cliffs. Nepali means cliffs in Hawaiian. And she mentioned that there was a campground at the end there, and people, you know, camped out there for several days or whatever. So this was something that kind of stuck in my mind for the coming years. And many years later, I've had, you know, various adventures going to university in Alaska and being a vagabond around the U.S. And so I decided to go back to Hawaii as a backpacker for 2 months. But I booked a flight to the Big Island because I hadn't been there yet. Thought, well, I'll go see another island. I got to the Big Island and was there for like a week, but wasn't really into it as I was hoping. Basically, it's bigger, distances are longer. I was on a, you know, extreme budget. I was trying to hitchhike around. It just kind of wasn't working. And so I decided to go back to Kauai, and I think that I had in mind doing that Kalalau Trail hike. So I caught a cheap flight over to Kauai and spent the rest of my time there, so 7 weeks on Kauai, and I did the hike out to Kalalau Valley several times on that trip. I will talk more about that some other time in another video. But a year later, I went back again on a much more extreme budget. I literally had $30 to my name when I landed. Here we go, getting closer. There you can see hiking, $5 per person. Diamond Head Crater, Kahala Lookout. So you turn off the road there and go up this. Never ridden one of those, but it looks fun. So winter of 1998, then I landed on Kauai once again and did the Kalalau Trail hike. Basically bought food with like the 30 bucks that I had left or whatever, and without getting too lost on that story, then I ended up working on a farm. So I actually bought a two-way ticket. That was in the days when it was like cheaper to buy two-way than one-way. So I had a ticket for 2 months later, but I didn't take that and found this job working and living in my tent on an organic farm on the north shore of Kauai, and lived there for 6 months that time. Next trip was quite a few years later in 2007. So I bought a series of tickets all at once with this one company. That was my fourth international trip. So I flew from Portland, Oregon, where I was living at the time, to Kauai. 1 month, I think, on Kauai, and then Thailand for the first time. Then from there to India for I think like 3 months or so, and then Nepal for the first time. So this is going into 2008. 2 weeks in Nepal, did the Annapurna Base Camp trek. As Ken was mentioning, the Poon Hill is right next to the Annapurna Base Camp trek. And then I had another flight from India back to Thailand for another month, and then another flight from Thailand back to Hawaii for I think another month, and then back to Portland. So 8 months altogether on that trip. The next time I came to Hawaii was 2012. I had worked in Jasper National Park, Canada. I was born in Vancouver, and so I have citizenship. And so I worked there for 6 months, saved up money, and then decided to move to Kauai. Got an apartment there, lived in that apartment for 6 months, and then, this is a whole story in my book that I'm writing, that I've partly written and have published what I've written so far on my medium.com page. I will put a link down below to that if you're curious to hear more about this, because this is one of my just strangest, craziest stories. I moved onto a beach in order to try to save money while still working my landscaping jobs. Hey Hey folks, so I'm hard at work at my landscaping job here. It's an amazing sunny afternoon here, and I thought I'd give a quick little tour of what I'm up to. The first thing that I'll point out is that right down there is a parking lot that is the parking lot to go to Secret Beach, which is one of the nicest beaches on the island. You have to walk down a little trail down that way, and then it goes down this steep path, and through there you can see the ocean. What I'm doing today is replanting ape. So this here is an ape plant, and so I've dug up a bunch of them, and now I'm going to walk over to the little landscaping rig and drive over to where I'm planting them. So this is our pretty awesome landscaping mobile here. It's almost brand new. We had another one that was a little bit smaller. So I'm going to sort of one-hand it here with the driving. That's my boss over there. And the crazy part is the woman that I met who was also living on the beach. And so I won't get lost in telling that story, but it is literally one of the weirdest stories you will ever hear. Okay, let's check the map. I guess you can just catch a like tourist bus there as well, straight to the entry point inside the crater, which is right through that tunnel. All right, so it is now 2:57, so it's been 45 minutes. We've walked 2 miles. It says 36 minutes. I've been getting distracted by filming. So just over 2 miles to get to the beginning of the hike. Here you can see a tunnel through the crater wall. Pretty cool. So here we go, walking into the crater, and up there is where we are going. Maybe you can see something kind of shining on the side of the hill at the top there. Those are stairs that we will be walking not up, but down, because there is a loop. You go like to the left around the backside and then come down that quite long, very steep section of stairs there. And then up ahead you can see the parking lot. So at this point, Google Maps won't show you the walking route, I think because it gets confused by the tunnel. So I have it on driving mode, and 2.3 miles, a 10-minute drive. It is 3 o'clock, so 45-minute walk. Get checked in here and then keep on hiking. It's gonna get steeper from here. There you can see the perspective. We are right there. Honolulu, the Pacific Ocean. All right, so I want to wrap up this story about my visits to Hawaii before I get to the steep part. So I think that I said that I came to Hawaii in 2012, but I actually came in, I think, October 2011. Lived for 6 months in the apartment into 2012, and then spent 2 months on the beach. Fun fact, I only took a shower once that whole time, when I snuck into a resort that had pools and hot tubs and showers. Took a shower there, otherwise the entire time I was just washing off, taking a swim in the ocean every day after my long day of landscaping, getting all muddy and sweaty. So 8 months that time, and then left in May of 2012. Next trip to Hawaii was 2015. I had just finished another period of work in Jasper National Park, the last time that I worked there, in fall of 2014. So I actually got it wrong again. It wasn't in 2015, it was in December 2014 that I flew to Honolulu, my first time actually stopping in Honolulu, and seeing Oahu. Spent, I forget, 5-6 days or something here, and then went back to Kauai and spent another month or something into 2015 there in Kauai. And that's when I met my friend Sterling, who many of you know from previous videos. I think that she was living on the island at that time, yes. I actually met her through another friend very briefly. I think the last day, like I was flying out that day or the next day or something like that. But we kept in touch on Facebook, and that summer, 2015, then she was back in Portland, Oregon, and we met up there. She went back to Hawaii. She was living on Kauai at that time. And then like a month later, she had this real estate job. Oh boy, this is where the wheelchairs kind of have to stop. And she invited me to come out there and work for her for a little while. So I went out to Kauai once again and lived in Sterling's house on her couch, literally, for several weeks. And then she went back to the mainland, and I had the house to myself for a few weeks, and then I left and went to Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. Next time to Hawaii was 2018. And so I went to all 4 of the major Hawaiian islands. So started on Kauai, and then flew to Maui, then Big Island, and Sterling was now living on the Big Island. Visited her for a few days, and then caught a flight to Honolulu, a few days here, and then flew to Japan for the first time from there. So that was the last time that I was in Hawaii 5 years ago in 2018. All right, this is where it gets intense. Got to get up there. Doing the hike in my trusty sandals. These are not flip-flops. So speaking of sandals, I forgot to mention that on my trips to Kauai in 2007 and 2008, both times I did the Kalalau Valley hike to the end of the trail. I also did it in 2011 and in 2015. In 1997, then I did it 3 times because I stayed out there for a while and did the hike back to get more food. And then I did it, I think, twice in 1998. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, I think. Every time wearing sandals. I would not want to wear shoes hiking in Hawaii. I don't think that I've ever had a pair of shoes on in Hawaii. It is hot, it is humid, it rains. If you're hiking, you're likely to go through creeks. What you want is a good pair of sport sandals. Okay, nice view here. There's the tunnel. Beautiful Oahu. Kauai is what I generally think of as being my favorite Hawaiian island, but I have to say Oahu, I don't know, it's like maybe a tie for different reasons. Kauai is kind of more wild, more remote beaches with nobody on them, generally more mellow and peaceful, but Oahu is really spectacular, especially once you get out of Honolulu and see more of the island. You can see the mountains there and really, really incredible beaches. What do we got here?
It's a lookout here.
Must be some sort of a pulley for taking stuff up here or down.
I want a picture here.
So these are not the steep steps that you could see from down there. They're further up. These ones you go up and back. Another tunnel. And you will see the other stairs at the end of this tunnel. You can't see it at the end of the tunnel yet. There are lights. Pretty dang cool hike. So here it says, going left is recommended, but you can go either way. You're here at the bottom of those steep, long steps. So they recommend going this way because there is a series of stairways instead of doing it all at once going up. Another viewpoint there, and then up these steps. Check it out. What is that, a mongoose? Some kind of a weasel type thing. I have never seen those in Hawaii before. How cool. All right. Maui. Can't see it. Molokai. Lanai. And then Koho Hawe, I think, something like that. The island that you can't visit because it is private. Kauai out there. Ni'iau, also private island. And then Big Island at the end of the chain.
We're sucking it all
And
up.
here we go, a great view of Honolulu. And where I started from, Waikiki Beach.
Here's a photo. On your phone?
Huh?
Oh, okay.
That's where I was. What a view.
Where am I gonna go? You and I can collaborate. I'm gonna do a little bonus.
All right, so it shows the walking time from here to the Diamond Head Visitor Center. 18 minutes, 0.9 miles. It was 2.3 from Waikiki to the Visitor Center, so that means 3.2 miles total, and 1 hour and 20 minutes to get from there all the way up here. So there is the peak. In my last video then I walked from Waikiki Beach along there, stopped somewhere around there. I guess that I didn't get to that beach there that looks very nice. And so here, you go into like this bomb shelter, I guess, and complete the loop. Down these spiraling metal steps. And then this is the top of the stairs. So going to end this video here. Going to walk back down into the crater, through the tunnel, and then at that point I might catch an Uber, give my legs a break. So tomorrow is my last day in Hawaii, so I have tomorrow to do some more exploring if I feel like it. We shall see. Maybe one more video coming from Hawaii. Otherwise, it is going to be a break for a while, most likely, but not too long. I don't know, maybe a couple weeks or so. Maybe make some random videos back in Oregon or California. We shall see. So take it easy.
We have to go 99 stairs to make a road. We have to go up here, and we have to go here, and then we're in here, right?